Zoroastrianism and Hinduism both originated among Aryans after their migration to the Middle East and South Asia. Although the theory of the Indo-Aryan migration has also been the subject of scholarly criticism, the similarities and the existence of many common features between the Vedic and Avestan texts indicate a strong ancient interconnection. While these two religious traditions had been interconnected before and at the time of the Great Migration, they took separate paths after the settlement of their followers in different geographic areas. Regardless of the causes of this divergence, nowadays there are a lot of differences between these two religious traditions in addition to their original similarities. Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is an ancient Persian religion that was the official religion of the Persian Empire from BCE to CE. Estimations on the lifetime of the prophet of this religion, Zoroaster or Zarathustra in current Persian, vary between and BCE. However, Dr. Jahangir Ashidari argues that according to historical facts and events, the most realistic estimate of the year of his birth may be BCE. Zoroaster was born in the present-day Azerbaijan province in Iran. He moved to Khorasan and the city of Balkh, where he declared his prophethood, and was successful in establishing a new religion. The king of Balkh was among his followers at that time. The most prominent source of Zoroastrian moral thoughts is the religion's holy book named Avesta. Only a small part of the current Avesta is attributed to Zoroaster himself, as a scripture he brought and left among his people. This part is named Getha and consists of mystical hymns and no concrete jurisprudential or ethical debates. The other parts of Avesta are as follow. Yasna. This is the oldest and most important part of Avesta, and includes Getha. It has been argued that this part of Avesta has been compiled at the same time as Rigveda. See the section on Hinduism below, and there are linguistic similarities between the two. Yashtha. This part of Avesta is mostly poetic and includes verses of worship to Ahura Mazda and Amshaspandan. See below. Yashtha consists of poems and epics, and does not include moral or jurisprudential elements or teachings. Vice Parade. Vice Parade means lords and leaders. This part of Avesta includes cosmological and ontological teachings. It also contains general moral wisdom for people, describing the best behavioral models for men and women. Vanidad. This is the jurisprudential part of Avesta. It was compiled centuries after the death of Zoroaster and mostly explains how Zoroastrian clergy thought or acted in issuing jurisprudential decrees. Vanidad is partly related to medical issues such as abortion. See below. Korda Avesta. In CE, Mu'azzar Marispan compiled this part of Avesta to teach Zoroastrian rituals to people. At that time, Zoroastrianism was the official religion of the Sassanids, who were the last dynasty before Islam and ruled over the Persian Empire for more than years. In addition to the Vanidad part of Avesta, there are other holy scriptures like Artavirafnama and Shayasthanashayast that are rich in ethical and jurisprudential teachings. These have been compiled in the centuries after the lifetime of Zoroaster, mostly during the dominance and prevalence of Zoroastrianism in the Persian Empire, from about the 10th century BCE to the 10th century CE. Through the 7th and 8th centuries CE, Persia gradually joined the Muslim world and the dominance of Zoroastrianism ended. Nevertheless, the cultural influence of this religion has persisted until contemporary times. Nowadays, the followers of Zoroastrianism mostly live in Iran, India, the Parsis and Western countries. Estimations of the present population of Zoroastrians worldwide differ between and million. Beyond the community of its formal believers, the current and historical influences of Zoroastrianism on the Iranian culture and even the Iranian version of Shiite Islam have been significant. It has been argued that the Iranian Persian culture is a mixture of three different heritages: the Islamic Shiite religion culture, the ancient Persian Zoroastrian culture, and the impact of the Western modern culture in recent centuries. Some foundational features of Zoroastrianism that are very important in understanding the spirit of this religion and its bioethical perspectives are as follow. Monism versus dualism. Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion. The dualism of Ahura Mazda and Ahriman in the Zoroastrian cosmology has been translated into a dualistic view in theological and moral perspectives. Therefore, Zoroastrian morality is largely based on a type of dualism that believes in the timeless and everlasting combat between good Mazda Sapand Manu Eshuns and evil Arman Angry Manu Daru. It is noteworthy that Zoroastrianism in its dualistic moral view is more similar to Abrahamic religions than to Hinduism and other Asian religions. According to the Zoroastrian dualistic view, Mazda created all the good in the universe, and Arman created all the evil. Human beings were also the creation of Mazda, and are therefore considered intrinsically good. However, they have the ability and autonomy to choose between good, which is in concordance with their nature, and evil, which is suggested and encouraged by Arman. The former follows Asha as the divine rule of existence and are called the Ashuns, while the latter who choose evil Daru are named the Dorvans, followers of Dur Evil Eye. According to the aforementioned beliefs and perspective, which consider every unborn human being as a creature of and a future soldier for Mazda, Zoroastrianism is a pro-life religion. Some of the newer parts of Avesta explain punishments and difficult steps for purgation of a person who has committed abortion. Amshaspandan and Asha. Before the time of Zoroaster, the Aryans, including the group that moved to India and are called Hindus, used to worship multiple gods and goddesses. Zoroaster introduced a single god named Mazda, and the previous Aryan gods were then revived as the various reflections or faculties of that single god. These were named the Amshaspandan, and were inseparable from Mazda. Amshaspand means the immortal pure, and Amshaspandan is the plural form of Amshaspand. This word is constituted of two parts, Amesha and Sapanta. Amesha means immortal and indestructible, and it also specifies everlasting and beneficent entities such as the four elements, the sun, and whom healing plant. Sapandra means generous, merciful, creator and pure. According to Zoroastrian teachings, the Amshaspandan are as follow. Asha. This is a very important concept in Zoroastrianism and is rather similar to the concept of Dharma in Hinduism. Asha means the eternal law, righteousness, and the unchanging rules of the universe and humanity. People who follow Asha and believe in it as the divine rule of existence are the Ashuns, while others who choose evil Daru are the Dorvans. Vihumana, good behavior, character, and intent. Ksashtra, God's city, God's power, and God's faculty. Armiety, love, devotion, and purity. Harudat, growth, development, and happiness. Amordat, immortality, and indestructibility. Nashu, being clean and pure is very important in Zoroastrian teachings and rituals. Nashu is uncleanliness or a demon, mainly attributed to dead bodies. Any person contaminated with Nashu should be cleaned through a set of sophisticated rituals including being washed with a liquid prepared from cow's urine. Zoroastrians do not bury the bodies of the dead because they believe that this practice contaminates the soil. Instead, they leave corpses in places named Dikma to be eaten by wild animals and degraded by natural forces. Since an aborted fetus is a dead body, abortion is considered to contaminate the mother's body with Nashu, which is a great sin. See below for further discussion. Hinduism. Claimed to be the oldest living religion in the world, Hinduism is a huge network of concepts, beliefs and rituals initiated more than 2,000 years ago in ancient India. Today, Hinduism has about 1 million followers all around the world. Most Hindus live in India and Nepal, but they also shape large populations in other Asian countries like Cambodia, Thailand, Burma and Indonesia. In addition, in developed countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, Hindus are among sizable minorities. The concept of Dharma. Dharma holds the human community and the entire world together. As explained above, this concept is very similar to the concept of Asha in Zoroastrianism. In Hinduism, Dharma illuminates humans' responsibilities and way of life. As mentioned above, in the ancient Indian subcontinent, the followers of Hinduism called their religion tradition Sanatana Dharma, in which the word Sanatana means eternal. Also, in Zoroastrianism, the people who are true followers of Zoroaster are called Ashun. Therefore, it seems that attributing followers to the eternal law is a common concept in both Zoroastrianism and Hinduism. Concepts of karma, samsara, and reincarnation. Karma is one of the most important concepts in Hindu ethics and morality. This concept denotes that a law of cause and effect rules the world of human deeds, both mentally and physically. Each action produces its own reaction in the world. Accordingly, a good action has a good reaction for the human agent in his or her current life or next lives, while a bad action will certainly bring about bad consequences, which, again, can take place in the current or subsequent lives of the human agent. This continuous cycle of action, reaction, birth, death and rebirth is called samsara. This cycle is not endless. One can break the cycle of samsara by good deeds that lead to salvation and getting out of the cycle. This salvation, called moksha or nirvana in Buddhism and Jainism, is the ultimate goal of life. Therefore, the final purpose of Hindu ethics is salvation that is manifested in breaking the cycle of samsara and entering the eternal salvation, sometimes named moksha. There are serious controversies among scholars on the existence of a Hindu bioethics. Like other ancient civilizations, the Indian subcontinent had its own medicine and healing tradition called Ayurveda, the science of life, which was a sort of humoral medicine. The existence of this medicine and its rich literature, mixed with Hindu teachings and thoughts about humanity and morality, led some scholars to try to derive from it a kind of Hindu biomedical ethics. For example, the ancient Hindu stories about gods with human bodies and animal heads were used to conclude the permissibility of xenotransplantation in Hindu bioethics. Some scholars, however, do not agree with this method of constructing Hindu bioethics. They argue that the mere existence of these traditional schools of medicine in the mostly Hindu ancient Indian subcontinent does not imply that their literature mirrors Hindu bioethics. The key point in this regard is that there is no consensus among Hindus on all of the concepts and principles attributed to this religion. This vast diversity, as mentioned above, is one of the most important characteristics of Hinduism. This characteristic reflects itself in Hindu ethics, applied ethics, and bioethics. The main question is, how can all these sects and branches of Hinduism agree upon a set of principles for applied ethics? Since they cover such a diverse variety of beliefs but have no common feature such as a prophet or a holy book, as is the case with Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism. Therefore, the existence of a Hindu bioethics with a distinct set of principles has been a subject of controversy and debate. Two kinds of efforts, however, have been made to solve this problem. Some scholars have pointed out common concepts, like karma, as the core and unifying concept of Hinduism and Hindu ethics. By doing so, however, they have broadened the scope of Hinduism in a way that even Buddhism and Jainism can be considered some sort of Hinduism. It is obvious that this is too wide-ranging to serve the purpose. Some other scholars have tried to choose just one sect or group within the wide spectrum of Hinduism, and described Hindu ethics based only on the values and beliefs of that sect or group. They have been successful in finding a set of principles, but the results cannot be called Hindu bioethics as they are too narrow in range. Dharma versus Asha. The concept of Asha in Zoroastrianism is similar to the concept of Dharma in Hinduism. Both Asha and Dharma refer to a superior law of the universe and the bright path of life, which should be adopted by the believers. In the Indian subcontinent, before their historical encounter with other religions and traditions, the followers of Hinduism called their religion tradition Sanatana Dharma. The word Sanatana means eternal. Also, in Zoroastrianism, the true followers of Zoroaster are called Ashan. Therefore, it seems that attributing followers to the eternal law is a common concept between Zoroastrianism and Hinduism. The approaches of these two religions to moral issues like abortion are consistent with this ontological view of the universe. The entire universe is created and ruled in accordance with Dharma Asha, and all the people should follow these eternal rules. Morality ultimately means consistency and accordance with these higher entities. In both religions, abortion is a violation of the higher and sacred law of the universe and existence. Therefore, abortion, like murder, robbery and other kinds of immoral behaviors, is wrong and unacceptable. Unity versus diversity. One of the main differences between Zoroastrianism and Hinduism is in the very fact that Zoroastrianism is a religion with a god, a prophet, a holy book, and in long periods of its history, a single hierarchical order of clergies. Hinduism, however, lacks all these features. There is no single god, prophet, holy book or system of clergies shared among all the groups, sects and communities who call themselves Hindu. Therefore, in order to find the normative positions of Zoroastrianism, for example their perspective on abortion, one can rely on a single defined set of resources. In Hinduism, however, each expressed viewpoint only belongs to a number of believers and does not reflect the viewpoint of all religions' traditions. Considering this difference between these two religions is important for reading and understanding all the scholarly works that have been published in this regard. In other words, Zoroastrianism is a typical religion, while Hinduism is a mixture of similar and interrelated traditions religions. However, considering the familiar resemblance that ties the members of this group to each other, one can consider Hinduism a unique, vast tradition reflecting the spirit of the Indian subcontinent. Afterlife versus reincarnation. One of the most important differences pertains to the concepts of rebirth and reincarnation. Unlike Hinduism, Zoroastrianism does not believe in reincarnation and rebirth, but believes in the afterlife, like Abrahamic religions. Therefore, in Zoroastrianism, abortion is not considered as depriving a person of a cycle of human life, but as denying him or her the only chance of birth and enjoying life on earth. Karma versus omnipotent God. In Hinduism, killing a living creature, including a fetus, is regarded as interfering in its spiritual evolution. Such interference places karmic burdens on its agent. Therefore, according to the natural law of karma, the agents of such a crime will definitely encounter its just punishment retaliation in their current or next lives. As an example of how the concept of karma works with regard to abortion, it has been said that abortion is a kind of punishment for meat-eaters. The fetus was a meat-eater in his or her previous life, while the mother was a cow in her previous life, now taking revenge according to the rules of nature. According to this belief, meat-eaters and other people who kill live entities cannot escape the retribution set by the laws of karma. Thus, in their next lives, they will have to undergo the misfortune, and may be recurrently aborted. It is obvious that the karmic maleficence of abortion is in close relation to reincarnation. This very belief that a human embryo is essentially a human person underlines the karmic effect attributed to abortion in Hinduism. The concept of Karakakaraka's theory of causality shows how the karmic burden heritage of past lives is transferred to the unborn fetus. Therefore, killing the unborn child disrupts this process of transferring the karma and imposes karmic burdens on its agent who, by his or act of abortion, has deprived the unborn baby of one of his or her chances to pursue salvation in a human life. Cleanliness, on the other hand, is a very major concept and an emphasized duty for believers in Zoroastrianism. One of the most offensive contaminants that can affect the cleanliness of the human body is a corpse. Accordingly, there are specific burial rituals in Zoroastrianism to prevent contamination of the soil, fire and living bodies by a corpse. According to Zoroastrian teachings, abortion exposes the body of the mother to contamination caused by the dead body of the aborted fetus. Therefore, in addition to abortion being forbidden, there is a multi-step ritual for purgation of the body of the mother, including washing her womb with a liquid made from cow urine. The concept of karma, as it exists in Hinduism, has no place in Zoroastrianism. Based on Zoroastrian teachings, Ahura Mazda can punish or forgive sins. Therefore, the punishment or forgiveness of bad deeds do not occur as a result of a natural law, but is attributed to Ahura Mazda, who can either punish or forgive the sinner. As a matter of fact, belief in an omnipotent God is not consistent with the concept of karma, because accepting the inviolability of this concept as a natural law ties the hands of God. In Zoroastrianism, like Abrahamic religions, the omnipotent God defines what is good and what is evil, and punishes or forgives anyone he wants. Zoroastrianism and Hinduism are similar to each other in adopting strong pro-life approaches to issues like abortion. Although with different theoretical bases, both these religious traditions ban abortion and allow it only if the life of the mother is threatened by continuation of the pregnancy. Also, they are fundamentally different in the conceptual and theological basis of their moral approaches. The concept of Asha in Zoroastrianism is similar to the concept of Dharma in Hinduism. Both these concepts refer to a superior law of the universe and the bright path of life. The most noteworthy similarity between Zoroastrianism and Hinduism, however, is their pro-life approach. The perspectives of Hindu bioethicists on key bioethical issues such as abortion has been shaped by a strong tradition of non-violence, ahimsa, and an immense reverence for life. Ahimsa is a core concept in the approach of Hinduism to the issue of abortion and is based on the sacredness of all creatures as manifestations of the Supreme Being. In Zoroastrianism, abortion is regarded as killing an innocent and intrinsically good person. Since the human being is essentially good and has been created by Ahura Mazda, killing an unborn child is a violation against the forces of Ahura Mazda and a facilitator to the forces of Ahriman, hence a major sin. Therefore, both these religions have adopted a pro-life approach toward the abortion debate.